Good morning, everyone. I hope you all are doing well. Mr. Southworth here once again, and welcome to the first official week of school. Hope you all had a good weekend. Hope you all are doing well in general. And yeah, we're getting into starting to talk about actual content and whatnot. So I hope you all are ready to get ready for getting into school for the rest of the year. So strap in and let's get started. Now, this week I'm going to keep things pretty light. In fact, we're not going to be getting into much English content until probably Thursday will be the only day Thursday and Friday will probably be the first days we get into actual English content. And even at that, I'm going to keep the English content mostly brief on those days. And on Friday especially, I'm going to keep it mainly simple. But these first 3 days, Monday through Wednesday, it's going to be a lot of introducing you all to the procedures of our class and everything like that. Okay, guys, so before I get into our actual content for today, I just wanted to sort of give you all a formal introduction to myself and let you all get to know me a little bit. So don't skip over this part of the video because I'd like to let you all know some stuff about me and everything like that. And I've been enjoying reading your all's contact information sheets and getting to know a little bit about you all and what you all enjoy and things like that and what you all are hoping to get out of this year. So I'm going to go ahead and return the favor and introduce myself as well. So let me put this into full screen. All right. Okay, so I sort of told you all this on Wednesday of last week, but Wednesday and Thursday of last week at least. But my name is Mr. Southworth. I was born August 20th, 1996, so my birthday was actually pretty recently. I just turned 24, so I am definitely a bit young on the teaching side. And this is only my first full year teaching. Now, like I mentioned last week, I did teach at Woodford County last semester, but I wasn't there for a full year. So this is my first full year at any type of school. Last year in 2019, I was substitute teaching in Fayette County, so I've been doing some teaching, and before that, I was student teaching at Lafayette High School. That's where I student taught. And I was born in Lexington. I am currently living in Versailles with my grandparents, so I have about an hour-long drive to Owen County, which, isn't too bad. I would prefer a shorter drive, obviously, so I could sleep a little bit more, but the drive is actually pretty nice. I like the drive here. It's very scenic and everything like that. But Lexington is where I've been for my whole life, and I'm just glad to be here. Oh, and by the way, this picture is from Asbury University. That's where I went to college. And that person to the left was my roommate for a time. And this was at a junior senior dance that we had at Asbury. So, yeah, I went to Asbury for a time. Let me see if that's on the next. Okay, it is. But yeah, that was something I did there. So, I graduated from Tates Creek High School in 2015, so a little bit ago now. 5 years ago, actually, not that long ago when you think about it, but it feels like so long ago in many ways. I studied English education, or majored in English education grades 8 through 12 at Asbury University starting in 2015. And to the left, you can see that is my acceptance letter and everything from Asbury University. I really liked being there. I thought it was a great college experience. I feel like I learned a lot there about education and stuff like that. So if you are interested in becoming a teacher or anything like that, then I would recommend looking into Asbury because they have a great education program. And I know some of you all are starting to look into what colleges you might potentially want to be going to. So yeah, I went to Asbury from 2015 to 2019. I graduated there May of last year, which is still crazy to think about that it's only been a little over a year now since I graduated from Asbury. And I mean, just looking back on it, it was a good time and I learned a lot there, and I'm been excited to be able to use the knowledge I gained from Asbury in my school time and in my teaching time. I'm still very new to the job and I still have a lot to learn, but I'm excited to continue to learn, and I'm hoping to learn along with you all. I know you all will have just as much to teach me, if not more than I have to teach you this year, because I learned so much from my students at Woodford, and I know you all are going to do the same for me here at Owen County, especially during this very different type of teaching time. So, yeah, I'm very excited to be here. All right, gonna move this, like, I don't know. I'll move it here. One of the biggest things you all should know about me is that I am really passionate about theater. I've been acting since I was 4 years old, and I acted all throughout my high school career and my college career. Now, in high school, I was really enjoying theater, but I think I actually got really passionate about it when I got into college. It wasn't like I wasn't passionate about it in high school because I did really enjoy it there. But when I got into high school, sorry, not high school, but when I got into college, I honestly realized that I wanted theater. Sorry, I can't talk today. I wanted theater to be a part of my career. I wanted to do it as part of my job, and I made that my goal with my education major was to try to find ways to teach theater or do stuff with theater while also teaching English. And there's a couple pictures here. I'll go ahead and explain them. So this one on the left, all these are from Asbury, but this one on the left was from a variety show we did at Asbury. This was in my last semester at Asbury before I started student teaching. And this particular segment was from The Lion King. We were singing Hakuna Matata, and I played Timon the Meerkat. Really fun performance. Just a great way to end off like my last performance at Asbury because this was my very last. Then at the bottom left here, this was in this was in what is still my absolute favorite show I've ever been in. It was in something called Sophomore Musical, which was a tradition at Asbury where the sophomores did a musical. Every class of sophomores did a musical, and ours happened to be Beauty and the Beast. And I got to play Cogsworth the Clock. If you all have seen that movie, I'm sure most of you all have. And that was always a dream role of mine, so it was really fun getting to play that role and getting to work alongside this awesome guy. And then in the middle here, this was from my next to last show at Asbury. This was definitely one of the more challenging shows I was in, called Putnam County Spelling Bee. I'm sure most of you all have not heard of that one. It's a very small musical. It's not very well known, but I played a fun character in that. I was playing like a middle schooler, so that was a lot of fun. And then this one on the right, I'm sure you all haven't heard of this show either, but it's called You Can't Take It With You, and I played a much older character in this. I played a grandfather, and it was the first lead role I had, so that was a lot of fun. Now, I don't know how many of you all are into theater, but I hope some of you all are, because while I was hired at Owen County, they told me in advance that I could actually do stuff with the theater program here. From what I understand, you all haven't had a whole lot of theater stuff go on here, so I'm hoping to bring the theater program back in some way. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. I don't know if there'll be a drama club or if we'll be just doing maybe a musical or a regular play a year or something like that. I don't know what exactly it's going to look like. And obviously, I can't really do theater right now because, we're in a time where it would be hard to do something like that. But if any of you all are passionate about theater or are wanting to do acting, then I'd love to hear your ideas about what types of shows or stuff you'd like to do while we're here. So go ahead and tell me about that. I'm very excited to be able to find ways to incorporate theater into your all school and to be able to revitalize the program. So yeah, I hope some of you all are excited about that too. Okay, another interesting fact about me is that I really love to hike. I've been to several places. I've been to the Gorge, I've been to the Smoky Mountains, I've been Raven Run, all sorts of places to hike. In fact, these two pictures on the left or right are both at the Gorge. This one is Natural Bridge, and I'm not sure where the other one is at, but these people in these two pictures are two of my closest friends, and that goes for this guy as well. Some of my closest friends and I go hiking with these two guys pretty frequently. In fact, just went back to the Gorge a couple weeks ago with them. And then in the middle here, this was at the Smoky Mountains, and that guy on the right is my brother Joseph. He's a couple years younger than me. He is actually in his final year at Asbury. He also went to Asbury, and he is a film major. He loves doing film stuff, and I have worked alongside him in his films. I've acted in some of his films before. He's a cool guy. I like working with him, and we've always been really close. We're practically the same person in a lot of ways. We really relate to one another and everything. So we've always been close and everything like that, and always done a lot of stuff together. So yeah, that's a couple other things about me. Also, I am a huge music fan, especially of rock and metal. I don't know how many other people love rock and metal, but if you do, then we can talk. Now, I'm actually pretty open to most music genres these days. I used to be much more just pure rock or pure metal, but I've opened my mind up to a lot of other genres, and I've seen a lot of artists that you all like that I also like. So, we can relate to each other on music. I love talking about music. It's one of my favorite things to talk about. So anytime people want to talk about music with me, I'm always open to that. If you ever want to talk about bands or artists or new songs or anything like that. And this on the left was from a concert that I went to with my brother with a band called Red that I really like. And then this on the right was another concert that me and my brother went to. And as you can see, we were both a sweaty mess. This concert was so hot. I still remember just how humid it was in there and just how packed in it was. It was insane, but it was a fun concert. And this guy in the middle is from a band called Fit for a King, as you can see by the shirt, and that was a really fun concert as well. Been to all sorts of live performances, live concerts, and I listen to music all the time. I really miss the live concert scene, really miss it right now. Also, I was involved in both Cub Scouts and Boy Scouts. I'm not sure how many of y'all have heard about these organizations or how many of y'all, if any of you all, have been in them, but I am actually an Eagle Scout. I got an Eagle Scout in my senior year. It's the final rank of Boy Scouts. I got it in my senior year of high school, and if you don't know what Eagle Scout is, it is the highest rank you can possibly achieve, and it's considered a pretty important reward. I don't like to, tote it around all the time, but I am very happy about it and everything like that. So it's one of my proudest accomplishments, and it's something I still hold dear to me, even though I am not involved in Boy Scouts like at all right now. I miss the organization, but I just don't really have the time to contribute to it at the moment. So see on the left. Now this is a picture from when I got inducted into this Boy Scout organization called Order of the Arrow. Most of you all probably don't know what that is, but that's just a Boy Scout organization. And this guy on the right is one of my closest friends. His name is Aaron, and he's also part of the Order of the Arrow. He's much more involved in Boy Scouts than I am right now. He's been crazy involved lately. Good guy, really good guy. And then in this in the middle is my certificate for Eagle Award. And then on the right here, now this bench was part of something I did called an Eagle Project. Now for those of you who do not know, with the Eagle rank, something you have to do is you have to do a project that benefits a particular community or something like that. And what I decided to do for my Eagle Project was build 2 benches for the church that my Boy Scout organization went to. And man, it was a challenging project. I'm not very good at woodworking or anything of the type, so this may have not been the best choice for a project. If I was wanting to do something not quite as challenging, I would have gone somewhere else because this was such a hard project to do. And I was very happy with it ultimately. We build these benches from scratch, so it was pretty cool to get to do something different, and I'm still very happy about the project. And these benches are at Crestwood Christian Church if you all ever wanted to check them out. But that's over an hour drive from here, so don't bother to do that if you don't want to. But I was very happy with these benches, and it was just a cool accomplishment, a cool little thing that was very collaborative, and a lot of people helped me out with it. I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself. But yeah, the benches are still there. So yeah, Boy Scouts has been a pretty big part of my life, and I still consider it important to me now, even though I'm not as involved in it. Okay, so I wanted to give you all an idea of a couple places I've been. I haven't gone all around the world or anything like that, but I have been a couple places. Um, and this place on the right, this was back in my senior year at Tate's Creek. I went to New York. I'm sure most of you all recognize Times Square there. I personally would not want to live in New York. Way too packed, way too overcrowded for me, and I'm sure a lot of you all would probably feel the same. It's a cool place for sure, and I mean, got to go. do all sorts of cool things there. Like it has a very high theater involvement, obviously, and there's all sorts of cool stores and stuff there. And I mean, Times Square is an interesting experience, even though I don't know if I'd want to go back to it again. So that was a fun time. Now, this place in the middle, um, this was from my sophomore year, between my sophomore and junior year at Asbury University. I went to London, England, and that was the first time I'd ever been outside of the United States. And man, was that a cool trip! I got to do so many awesome things there. I got to work at the Globe Theater, which, if you don't know what the Globe Theater is, that is where Shakespeare performed his plays back in the day. Now, the Globe Theater that is there now was not the same Globe Theater that was there when Shakespeare was alive. In fact, if you know anything about Globe Theater history, you know the original Globe burned down and they rebuilt it. But it still looks very close to the original and everything like that, and I even got to stand on the Globe Theater, which was just an insanely cool experience. And I got to see all sorts of other places like Westminster Abbey and the Big Ben clock and everything like that. Um, I'm not sure what this building I'm standing behind is. I can't remember the name of it, but it was a church that was really beautiful on the inside. So yeah, London was a really cool experience. Got to hone in on my Shakespearean acting skills and everything like that. It was so cool getting to be there and trying different types of food. And I want to go across the globe again. I want to go to somewhere else outside of the U.S. again because it was such cool and such a different experience. And then this on the left, this was my most recent trip. Um, I went here last summer, and this was the last vacation I've had. I'm glad we got to have a vacation last year because obviously didn't get to have one this year. So this was in South Dakota, and this was our family's first time going out west. Really fun trip. In fact, this place we're taking a picture in front of is called the Badlands. Really gorgeous scenery. South Dakota is definitely one of the most beautiful states in the U.S. I've been to. There's so much beautiful scenery there, and so many cool places. Got to see Mount Rushmore, of course. Also got to see this Native American memorial that was really cool. So many cool things to do in South Dakota, and I would recommend it as a place if you haven't been there before. Of course, I've been to other places too. I've been to Disney World before. I've been to Myrtle Beach. That's a place my family goes to often. The Smoky Mountains, obviously, I already talked about that, but yeah, these are some of my favorite places that I've been to. Okay, so I also wanted to give you all some of my favorite books that I've read. Now, these aren't my absolute favorites anymore, but they are some that I still really hold in high regard and some books that I consider influential to me. Now, this one in the middle, for the longest time, this was my favorite book. It really isn't anymore, but it is still a book I enjoy, which is the final Harry Potter novel, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. And I enjoy all 7 of the books still, so yeah, definitely one of my favorite series and still a book I really enjoy reading. I'm not sure how many of you all have read the Harry Potter series. I know those have fallen slightly out of popularity with your all's generation, which is fine, but if you have, hopefully you enjoyed them as much as I did. And then on this one on the left, I'm sure most of you all probably haven't heard of this book, but it's the Screw Tape Letters by C.S. Lewis. You might know C.S. Lewis better for the Chronicles of Narnia series. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe specifically is his first book. That's what he's most known for. But this was like a fictional book he did where he goes into the perspective of a demon writing letters to his demon son. It's really interesting. It sounds a little ridiculous, but when you get into it, it's actually got some pretty interesting content. And then this on the right is The Hobbit. I'm sure you all have heard of the Lord of the Rings series before. This is the prequel to that. And, well, this book was actually written first, so it is the first book, but it is also a prequel to the Lord of the Rings series. Not nearly the same tone as those. It's much more lighthearted and everything like that, but I still really enjoy it. J.R.R. Tolkien, of course. It's a fun book to read, and I return to it often. So, yeah, those are some of my favorite books. Now, here are some of my favorite movies. This one on the left is my absolute favorite movie, my favorite movie of all time, The Dark Knight. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this movie. It is still holds up remarkably well, in my opinion. Best, like, superhero movie I've ever seen, but it also works so well as just a crime movie and everything like that, and I love all the acting in it. Heath Ledger is awesome in it, of course. I'm sure a lot of you all love this movie as well, and if you haven't seen it, please do yourself a favor. All right, this one in the middle. This movie came out 2 years ago now, actually. And man, this movie is so good, and it was so underrated in the year it came out. But Blade Runner 2049 won several Oscars, which was awesome. But this one didn't went very underrated and undeservedly so, in my opinion. It deserved a lot more attention. So take a look at this one, especially if you like sci-fi and tech horror. Such a good movie. Definitely one of my favorites of all time. And then this one on the right, this movie came out last year. I'm sure some of you all have heard of this movie because it swept the Oscars last year, won Best Film of the Year, so Parasite. And this movie is a masterpiece, in my opinion. One of the best foreign language films I've seen, and has a cool, like, really interesting plot to it. And you don't ever expect where it's going to go. It's just a great film, pretty much perfect for me, and I'd invite you all to check it out for sure. I love movies in general as well. I'm a big movie buff. I like seeing new movies whenever I can. I've missed the movie theaters a lot this year. I'm hoping to be able to go back since some movie theaters are reopening now. But yeah, these are some of my favorite movies. And then here's my family. Of course, you all have seen my brother in several pictures. This is another one of him at our graduation. As you can tell, we're pretty close. We have a lot of pictures together. This is my dad on the left here. And then this is my dog, Clifford. He is getting on in age right now. He is 15 years old now, which is crazy. We've had him for a long time now. And a funny little story behind this picture. This was from Christmas of last year, and while we were gone from the house, we were over at my grandparents. We came back home and we saw that he had eaten our other side of the family, my dad's sister, my aunt. We had brought treats for her dog, and when we got home, he had eaten that dog's treats. He had eaten the whole bag, pretty much. And it's insane that he didn't get sick from it or anything like that, considering he was 14 at the time, and he was able to down all of them so easily. And this picture is just him looking guilty. He's a cute dog, sweet dog. Definitely getting a bit weak in his old age. Been getting a little bit weaker, but he has been such a good dog to us, and he still seems happy right now. So, yeah, that's my dog, and that is my family. And yeah, that's pretty much it for my introductions. I hope they gave you all a little bit of an insight into who I am, and hopefully you all will get to know me better as the year goes on, and hopefully we'll be able to get to know each other in person. But for now, let's try to get to know each other better online, in whatever way that looks like. Now, let me see how long I've been going so far. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep this next part. I'm going to try to not drone on and on too much, but this is important for us to talk about because I know some of you all have been having trouble opening up my syllabus on my Bitmoji Classroom according to some of your all's emails. So I'm going to send these syllabi separately and try to see if that works. And if you still have trouble opening them up, then let me know. But I'm going to go ahead and go over it here. And then you all do have a bit of an assignment with this, which it's really easy. I'll show you all that assignment at the end. But I wanted to go over the syllabus really briefly with you all now. I'm going to briefly show the yearbook syllabus as well here. So English 3 and English 2 students, you can tune out of that when I briefly show the yearbook syllabus. But the reason I don't have the English 2 syllabus open is that the English 3 and the English 2 syllabus are practically the same. There's really not any differences to them at all, in fact. We have similar goals in both. We have similar things we're trying to shoot for. Yearbook is the only class that has obviously different goals. But everything else on the syllabus besides the goal is the same, so I'm going to keep the differences with yearbook very, very brief. So let me go ahead and go over this. So I'm just using the English 3, but English 2, this syllabus applies to you all as well. And yearbook, most of this applies to you all as well. I'll point out when we get into the different content. So when we are in person, I'm in room 206, so if you ever need any help or anything, if you're ever wanting to come in person or anything like that, then room 206 is where you can find me. That's my school number. I've been calling you all from my cell number, and I'll probably continue to do that, and I'll let you all know when it's me whenever I contact you all, especially for my homeroom students. When I contact you all, I'll be using my cell for the most part, because that's just what I've been using, but that's my school number if you want to contact me from school, and I'm at school from 8 to 3, so just contact me that way. All right. So the goal for our English classes is that we will be able to read text analytically, challenge ourselves with new skills, and write argumentatively and persuasively. Now, English 3 classes are, we will be focused more on the argumentative side, whereas with English 2, we'll be focused a little bit more on the persuasive side. But we'll be doing a little bit of both in each class. Now, what are we reading? This applies for both English 3 and English 2. We're going to be reading narratives ranging from short stories to novels, plays and other dramas, and historical documents and excerpts. Now, English 3, we're going to be doing a lot more with historical documents than English 2 will, but English 2, you all will be looking at a little bit of historical documents. Now, yearbook, we're going to be doing something a little bit different yearbook. You all are going to be creating a website to collect our pictures and information. You're going to be taking pictures, writing effective verbs that inform the reader. Of course, we're going to have to talk more about what exactly doing pictures will look like. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly we're going to do that. It's going to be a bit tough. And then working collaboratively, and as individuals on extended projects and meeting due dates. So that is what we'll be doing for yearbook. Now, class information. So the rules are the same for all my classes, and I've just got 3 main rules that I want you all to focus on, which is to respect teachers and peers. Of course, this won't be too hard to do in an online setting, especially when we're not interacting on the same level, but still, same applies. It doesn't matter whether we're online or in person, respect is still an important value to hold. Complete all assignments in a timely manner, and this goes for online learning. I would prefer that assignments not be super late or anything like that, and in fact, I'm going to go over my late work policy in a second. Every assignment needs to be completed in a timely manner, so turned in on time, and you are pacing yourself, of course. And learn to the best of your ability and apply yourself. I want you all to challenge yourselves this year. Really think about things deeply. Think about what we're learning on a deeper level. That's something that I think is really important for this class. So just keep that in mind as well. Now, what are we learning? So for English 3 and English 2, how to analyze and annotate text, and in the process determine author's purpose and theme. Of course, we'll get into this, what these things mean on a deeper level as the year goes on. The different grammar rules of English and how to use rules consistently. I know a lot of you all dread grammar, and even as an English teacher, grammar is not my favorite thing in the world, I'll admit, but it is really important to know grammar and how to use it properly. So that's something we definitely have to do as an English class, obviously. And then finally, the writing process, and then using that process to create thesis statements and research or argumentative pieces. So once again, with English 2, there will be a more focus on research, whereas with English 3, there will be a more of a focus on argumentative pieces. So those are the things we're going to be doing in learning for these classes. Now for yearbook, what we'll be learning is how to effectively utilize technology to create a comprehensive yearbook for the year. And I'll be showing you all how to use the website that we have, which will help us create our yearbook in a very comprehensive way. Communication and research skills regarding school events, both in school and extracurricular. Once again, this is going to be tough to do. I'm not sure how many extracurricular activities we're going to have this year, definitely, especially this semester. So this will be something I'll communicate with you all in the future. And time management to create a concise yearbook by the end of the year. So that's what we're doing for yearbook. Now let me move on to class procedures. Now everything else from here on out applies to every class. So all this is the same. All right, so grades. Now, of course, I've got 2 categories, formative and summative. Informatives will be worth 10 to 15 to, not 15, sorry, 50 points, whereas summatives will be worth 60 to 100 plus points. So as you can see, summative grades are going to be worth a lot more because they assess you as a whole. These are be more exam-based things. They'll be more project-based things. My goal while we're online is to do more project-based things as opposed to assessments. I think projects will just be more beneficial for the online environment, and I think you all will be able to be more creative with projects and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing for summative. That's why they're worth more points. They assess you as a whole and on a whole unit, whereas formative assesses you on a daily basis. So these will be the more frequent assignments that I'll be assigning daily. Therefore, summatives will have more weight on a student's grade, obviously. Now, our grading scale. I'm sure you all are familiar with this, but an A is a 90 to 100, a B is an 80 to an 89, a C is a 70 to a 79, a D is a 65 to a 69, and F is 64 and below. So that's our grading scale. Now, technology. I've gone over technology a good amount now, but still giving reminders is important no matter what. For the foreseeable future, we're learning from home. Right now we're only scheduled to be online until fall break, but I think you all probably realize, and I think it's a very high possibility, that we'll be staying online for the rest of the semester. So just be prepared to be on technology consistently for this semester, no matter what. So this means you need to be on your Chromebooks working. I obviously won't be able to be looking over your shoulder, making sure you're working all the time. And your parents won't always be able to do that either. I know a lot of your parents work, so this is very much so a independent working environment in many ways. You all are going to have to pace yourselves. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to be here for you all, far from it. I'm going to be available if you all need any help. So please use me as a resource. And in fact, I will be available for you all via Google Meets if you ever need assistance. Now, these office hours apply to every teacher. These are the same consistently across the board, but for me, here are my office hours if you need this reminder. So for first period, my office hours will be Tuesdays from 10 to 11. For second period, it'll be Tuesdays from 10 to 2. For third period, it'll be Wednesdays 10 to 11. For fourth period, it'll be Wednesdays from 1 to 2. For fifth period, Thursdays 10 to 11. And for sixth period, Thursdays 1 to 2. So I'll be holding Google Meets at all these times. I'll always send out an email with the link to the Google Meet. I'm not going to be posting it on Google Classroom because our stream and our classroom is going to be packed enough as it is. So I'm always going to be sending out these links via email, especially since everyone should be able to log into your email. I know one person had login problems, and I think we're getting that taken care of. So let me know if you don't get these or anything like that. But these are my office hours, and I'll send out the link with the Google Meet. If you need more help, of course, attend the scheduled Google Meet office hours, or you can set an appointment for a personal video chat. You don't have to come between these times. And if you can't make these times, then just send an email to me and let me know. And then we can set an appointment aside if you're really wanting to meet one-on-one and have that one-on-one help. Or if you're really wanting to meet in person, there's also a possibility you can do that too. You'll just have to schedule a time to come to school and schedule that with me, or if you need another teacher's help, then tell that teacher, and we can figure out a time to get you all to come to school so we can have that in-person, face-to-face interaction. So that's what you can do if you need help. Now, obviously, I can't enforce this. There's not any way I can, but I would strongly suggest that you all refrain using your phones during work unless absolutely necessary. Some work is going to be having you all answer questions from your own knowledge or in your own words. So if you're plagiarizing or using your phone to plagiarize, then you're going to get a 0 on that assignment, and I wouldn't want that. I want you all to make your own original work when you can. Of course, that doesn't mean you can't use other sources or research using other sources, but don't just quote them word for word or anything like that. And phones can be a distraction. I'd say just focus on using your Chromebooks during the time when you're doing schoolwork. Now, ignore these Google Classroom codes. I think almost all of you are in my Google Classroom now, so it doesn't matter. But more important information. So, absent late work. Even though we are online, there still is a possibility you all can be absent. Sometimes you all might be busy with something else. You might have a doctor's appointment one day. You might be really sick for a time. And of course, with the virus going around, some of you all might be out longer than that. Hopefully that won't happen. Really hope it won't. And if someone were out for that, of course, we'd be a lot more generous about the late work policy. So this is generally for people who just get generally sick or who are absent for any other reason. Now, you will have the opportunity to turn in work late. So if you are absent, you have the number of days absent plus 1 day to make up work. Now, if you have a really special circumstance, or you think you need some more days to finish your late work, please talk to me, because I will be pretty generous on giving days for late work. But if you don't talk to me about it in advance and you don't tell me your reasoning for needing a couple more days, then I'm going to have to deduct points for you, and I would prefer not to do that, especially if you do have a genuinely good reason for why you're not turning in an assignment right away. Now, late work for summative will be accepted late, but at 10% penalty each day late. No late work accepted at the end of a 9-week grading period. Formative work, I'll be giving like a 5% penalty probably, as opposed to a 10%. So that's the idea there. I'll be a lot more lenient on formative work than summative work. Let's just go with that. Now, for tests, we won't be having a whole lot of tests during this online time, but for the tests that we do have, there's an option to retake them. You can retake it one time, and you have to tell me before the end of a 9-week grading period if you're wanting to retake a test. That's very important. If you don't tell me, then I'm assuming you're happy with the grade you have. And if you don't retake the test before then your test grade will remain the same. Now, other summative work, like projects or group work, cannot be retaken. So a project that you work over the course of several weeks, or a group project that you do over the course of several weeks, you can't retake those because you put more and longer work into that, whereas a test is something that is like a one-time thing, a one-day thing, so that's easier to retake. With the summative work, that's projects, it's almost like, you're putting a certain amount of effort into that over a period of time, so I can't have you retaking those. So that is a policy on retakes. And that pretty much concludes my information on the syllabus. I know that was a lot of information, so if anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me and ask about the syllabus. I'm going to try to post the syllabi into each Google Classroom, and if the syllabus for some reason does not work for you, if you can't open it for some reason, then tell me and I'll try to just send it to you personally, but hopefully it'll work if I post them individually into the Google Classroom. And I'm going to try to figure out how to work the Bitmoji Classroom for the next week, since some of you all seem to be having a hard time accessing it. So yeah, that's what we have for the syllabus. Now, your assignment for today, and I want you all to get this done by the end of the week, is click here, and this link will be available when I send you all the PDF via Google Classroom. And some of you all have already done this, so some of you all are already ahead of the game. Only about 10 of you have responded to this, which is fine, because I know that most of you have been having trouble opening this up, but I want you all to sign the syllabus digitally. So you're going to have to hit yes, that you agree to follow all rules and procedures in my class. I didn't put a no option because there's not a no option. You need to follow my rules and procedures. And then you have to put your first name and your last name. And then after that, just submit it. So that's all you have to do for that. All right. That is it for today's session. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I'll be available until 3 o'clock today, so reach out and ask away. And I will most likely have, in fact, I should have a lesson posted tomorrow. It will once be something sort of introductory based, so yeah. be prepared to receive a pre-recorded lesson tomorrow as well. And until then, I hope you all have a good day.